The agenda for the meeting is DevOps. What is its importance in your software development? So before getting into the topic, so let me introduce myself. My name is Anil Kumar. I have 16 plus years of IT experience working as a project manager and the corporate consultant. And currently I have completed my certifications, professional certifications like your Prince 2 practitioner, CSM, PSM, ITL, Six Sigma, Green Belt, and the academic background is MBA and MCA. So I have an extensive experience training and consulting, more than 70 plus batches, uh, the online and offline, and the workshops and the corporate trainings I have been handled, and many were. And currently they are working as in a DevOps platform. And I have an extensive experience in with I have worked at client location with UK, US, and um, German clients, where I was explored to the different methodologies in a project implementation. So these are all about me. So let's get into the topic today. So what is mean by DevOps? So first thing, as DevOps is a buzzword. DevOps is a buzzword right now in the market. So most of the organizations are recruiting the resources who are having the skill set of the DevOps. But why? What makes that importance? What makes that importance that DevOps implementation in your project? Before DevOps also we have developed the projects. But what makes that significance in the application development? So that we need to know. So here with the implementation of the DevOps, the software productivity have been increased and we deliver the quality products. We deliver the quality applications, quality software applications there. So that is where we have, okay, that is where we have developed your applications here using this DevOps. And the software organizations also recruiting the resources who are having the skill set of the DevOps. So let's see that one. So what is mean by exactly DevOps and how it is useful for us and how how it has been implemented in your software development. So first thing, we know that one here, regardless of what kind of an organization you people have been working, whether it is in the product-based organization or the project-based organization, so you are going to be make this process to be automated, software development. So here, the organizations have been implementing these four pillars. What are they? First thing here, the faster delivery or continuous delivery, we call it as. The continuous delivery in the sense, regardless of what kind of your project is working on, you have to be continuously releasing the services. You have to be release the services continuously in the market. For example, the Paytm application is there. The Paytm application before demonetization, so we are using for the recharge purpose. But at the time of at the time of demonetization, the services which have been given, the services which have been provided by the Paytm, which gives when a lot of services have been given by the through the Paytm application we have been using. So with that one, their market has been elaborated, and its maximum market has been grabbed by the Paytm more than 70 to 80% of it. But after that, the similar kind of an Paytm applications have been came in the market, but they have not grabbed much market. Why? Because already the Paytm has been becomes the monopoly in the market. That means with this approach, what happens is the services which we are developing, we have to get their services into the market as early as possible. So those organizations are having the maximum benefit of grabbing the market. So that is an advantage. So any application, if you are taking, suppose now if you would like to be book the bus ticket. So what is the first thing which is getting in your mind, user mind? Red bus. Why not the other applications? Because the kind of a services, that unique services which has been brought into the market by these red bus applications. So that is why any of your applications which you would like to be, the unique idea which you would like to be get into the market at the earliest, you have to be get that services into the market and quick to the market and deliver the quality services. It's not like that one, faster you are delivering the services, you have to be compromised on the quality. No, you have to be give the quality services at the same time. So that is why the continuous delivery is very much important, right? Next one, here we have high quality. The quality services, just now I was told you. So if you are delivering the services faster, it doesn't mean that you have to be compromised. You have to say, you are going to be say to the client that you have to be compromised on the quality. No, though you have delivering the services faster, you have to be delivered the quality services at the same time. Take an example. Suppose now there is an Amazon sale is open. When the Amazon sale has been opened, they have given more number of offers, right? So thousands and lakhs of people are accessing that application through the mobile and through the web application. What happens there? The products which are displaying on the product catalog pages, when the images have been displaying on the product catalog page, sometimes the image was showing that blurry images because of the load which is coming on that web application. Hope you have been observed that. So when that blurry images has been displaying on that product catalog page, what is the perception of the mindset of a user? They might be thinking that, so the image they are showing, the image is not having that quality. Might be the product which these people are delivering might not be having the quality. They'll be thinking in that one, right? Might be, which is not right actually. But at that point of time, the mindset of your user will be thinking like that. That is why, though we are delivering the things faster or the services faster, you have to be deliver the quality services. Otherwise, which is not useful, which is not useful for that, which is not useful for your application. Next one, the lesser spending. Lesser spending in the sense, so when you delivering the about two services like your faster delivery and the high quality services, if you required, you might be recruiting more number of people have to be work on this application to deliver the about two services, the continuous delivery and the high quality services. Or you might be purchase some licensed software which with which you can able to be taking the help out of it. What happens? That means your services cost, your maintenance cost becomes higher. So that is why these days you might be heard about that the cost cutting from your organizations. What is meant by cost cutting? That means the organizations here who are recruiting, that means the organizations which is spending more on the people, or it could be a people, or it could be a machine which is of no use. They are not going to be spend much on it. That is where the lesser spending is those people who are not having the skill set, or those who are not having the project, those who are on the bench, so they are not going to be managing them. So they would like to be maximum optimization of the resources, optimization of your hardware resources, and the human resources will be spending on it. So that is where lesser spending will be used. Lesser spending will be using on this one. Next one is reduced outages. Outage in the sense, the application which is not accessible for a certain period of time, the duration of the time, the application which is not accessible. So might be you people have been come across the experience like when you are hitting any URL. Suppose now you're hitting an ICICI Bank application or Amazon or Myntra or any kind of an application, e-commerce or telecom applications. If you are hitting that, what happens? Sometimes it might be giving you the messages like giving the message displaying on the console that the server is down. It will be resumed after a couple of hours. What does it mean? That means in the backend, the developers, testing guys, and the administrators, they are deploying that application into the production service. So during that time, the application is not accessible. So that is where we are using this outages, for example. That means here earlier we used to do such kind of a manually when we are deploying the applications, we are going to be taking these kind of an outages. But now we are living in an era of automation. This kind of an outages will not be advisable. Why? Because even the application which is having the high web traffic, high web load is there. So even if it is down for a minute also, they will be incurring a huge loss. You might be heard about that in the 2021 November. The applications like your WhatsApp, Instagram, and the Facebook have been down for 7 hours, right? So they incur a loss about 44,000 crores of rupees. So you can think about, even if it is down for a minute, like a high web traffic, high web load applications like your Amazon or any bank applications, even if it is down for a minute also, they will be incurring a huge loss. That is why the clients want their applications to be get developed and deployed that new services into the market without taking any downtime. That is called outage here, guys. Reduce these outages with the implementation of this DevOps approach. Let's see. Now here, the DevOps means the blend of your development and operations team. A combination of your development and operations team is nothing but your DevOps. So earlier, these development team people and operations team people, they'll be working separately. That means individually they'll be working. So the development team people, always their perception is towards developing the new services, implementing the new kind of a tools in it, and developing that services to the and hand over that build application to your operations team. So operations team people perception is always make that application to be deployed into the servers, infra service. We have the different environments are there. I'll show you that. Different environments are there. In that environment, that application have to be deployed and make that applications to be stabilized. Application have to be stabilized. So their perception is towards that. But because of this misconception between this development team and operations team people earlier, deployment of your application or delivery of your application might be getting delayed when before DevOps implementation. But when this DevOps implementation, when the project management people that brings these two teams together, they have to be work together as a single team. Then the approach which brings that speed in your application development, which brings that agility in your application development. Now here, the collaborative way of developing and deploying the software is called DevOps. And DevOps is a process where multiple tools are connected to each other to perform the automation of all the activities involved in project management. In a different phases of your application development, we are deploying, we are implementing the different tools here, automation tools here, to make the process to be automated, which brings the speed in your application development, right? The next one here, the DevOps engineer is a person who's closely working with your development team, operations team people, and the QA team people, where these team people, they are performing the manual repetitive task manually they are performing. He is going to be make that process to be automated by implementing the DevOps tools here. Okay, so that's DevOps engineer is not just to make the process to be automated. He has to be communicating with all the other teams as well. Okay, the next one, DevOps is not a technology or a tool. It's a concept of behavior and it is an extension of your agile methodology. DevOps is not a language. DevOps is not a tool. It's a methodology. It's an approach, enhanced approach towards the application development, where it brings that the speed in your application deployment, development and deployment as well. So earlier, the development and operations team people, they'll be working individually, but with the proper coordination, with the proper communication and collaboration, these two team people have been working together as a single team and helps the team to helps them to be developing your application and deploy your application and delivering the quality services in a quick time. So let's see this one. What is the difference between these two team people? The first thing is, so what software development here? Software development is nothing but here, it's a process of transforming the client requirements into a complete software product. That means the client is coming up with a unique idea. So the development organizations is converting that unique idea into the software development, which is added the value to the client business. That is mean by software development. Next one, DevOps is a combination of the practices and the tools designed to increase the organization's ability to deliver your application services faster than the traditional waterfall methodology here, guys. Earlier, we are having the traditional development approach, which every process is manual, which is taking a long time to be developing an application because every process is manual and taking a long time. Even a small application to be get developed also, it is taking minimum 10 to 15 months of time earlier days. But earlier days, I'm talking about 10 years back. So, but later, when we got the agile methodology, when the DevOps methodology, the market has drastically changes. When the market has drastically changes, we have to be ensuring that the applications has to be developed faster and ensuring that application or the features which has to be delivered to your end users quickly. That is why, if you can observe, nowadays, the any kind of an applications we have been using, whether it is a mobile or the web applications here, every 2 months or 3 months we'll be getting the new notifications. Once you uploaded or once you upgraded that notification, the new versions of your new features have been reflecting in your applications. Have you ever observed? Android operating system, most of us we are using. Every 3 months, they'll be giving you the releasing the new version. Once you are releasing, once you updating that new version, what happens? The new features, new themes will be reflecting in it, right? Like that one, other applications also, whether it is in bank applications or telecom applications or your e-commerce applications also, every month it will be new services will be reflecting. That means new services will be delivering. So you can understand that in the back end, earlier days, to developing the complete application, the client can see the output of that application after 10 months. He can able to see the output of that his project. But here it is not that case. Every month he can able to be see the output of his new services. But in the DevOps, we are not developing the complete application at once. We are developing the application at small chunks of software at regular intervals of time. That is the advantage what we are having. As per the market competency, the client is coming up and giving the new requirements to us. So he is developing the actual requirements which is needed for his business to get it run. So that is why the success rate of your project is also more than 90% here. That is why the clients also willing to give the projects who are having the organizations who are having the DevOps team. Okay, that is why we are having the more DevOps opportunities outside. Every organizations are recruiting the people who are having the skill set of your DevOps tools. The next one here, DevOps goal is to be shorten the development lifecycle and provide the consistent delivery of high quality software by bridging the development and IT operations. Yes, of course. With the help of this DevOps implementation, the consistently delivering the high quality software. Every month or every couple of months, they are delivering the quality services. They thoroughly go through all the test cases and ensuring 99.9% bug-free application they're trying to be delivering to your end users. The next one here, the development team and operations team who are involving in this. See this development, developers, UI designers, testing engineers, QA engineers, build engineers, release managers, support engineers, and the program managers are there. So these people who are involving in development team to make an analysis, requirement analysis, estimation, planning, designing, and developing and build your application. Once the application have been getting built, they hand over that build application to your operations team. The operations team people, the like your system admins, network admins, middleware admins, storage admins, deployment engineers, these people, what these people will do is these people, they are going to be ensuring that application have to be deploying into your data center here, where your hundreds and thousands of servers are there. So once application have been deployed here, okay, then this application have been deployed. Application have been deployed over here. This application, when the end users from their laptop, they hitting this URL, it is getting connected to this service, and in the inside of this service, this ICIC application have been installed and configured, and it is going to be process the user request and send the response back to the end users. This is what happening in the backend when you are hitting any URL. Okay, so these operations team people, Their job is to be make sure that this application is stabilized in all these servers, ensure these all the servers have been available. This application is available in all the servers and giving the proper services to your end users 24/7, 365 days. That is their job. Right. Now, let me explain here before DevOps implementation, what kind of an approach we are following, and after implementation of the DevOps, how these applications will be getting developed, and how it is brings that speed and enhancement in that with the implementation of the DevOps tools. Let's see that. So first thing here, so here the developers develops the code, and after that, where they are going to be placed that code, they are going to be placed that code in the central repository here, guys. They're going to be placed that code in the central repository that is called source code management, we used to be called SCM, or VCS we used to be calling. So here we have, earlier we have this SPN, CVS tools are there. Here complete source code repositories are there. Here complete code repository. Code repository is there here. Right. So they are going to be push this code. Push the code here. Right. Next one. After that, here we have the build team. Okay. Your build environment we used to be calling in this. Build server. Build environment, build server we used to be called. So where these people will be push the code and pull the code from the code repository. That means from your source code management. And after that, here they do this manual process here, compile the code, integrate with existing code, and build your application, and generating the executable files. So this complete part, they used to be performing it manually. So in a project, we are having the thousands of files will be there. So every time, whenever they are integrating with the existing application here, they are going to be build your application. That means compiling that code manually. So thousands of files, they have to be compiled manually. It is taking a lot of time. Am I right or not? So thousands of files need to be compiled. It is taking a lot of time. So after that, before implementation of that automation, these are all the problems we faced. So next one here, we have the testing server is there. Okay. So this testing people, what they will do is once it is deployed this executable file into the testing server, here they are ready with the test cases, and they are going to be executing those test cases on that application. And if they got any bugs in that one, they are generating the bug report here. They'll be generating the bug report here. They'll be generating the bug report and sending that bug report across your development team. Okay, it is taking minimum 5 to 7 days on an average. It is taking 5 to 7 days of time it is taking to get that bug report to your back to your developer. But see, earlier days it was worked fine. So when he got this bug report, the developer, what they will do during this 5 to 7 days of time, are they going to be sitting idle, which is not possible in a private organization? Everyone will be observes you, your team lead, your project manager, everyone will be observes you. So that is why to sit idle, which is not possible. So here what happens is your team lead is assigning the task for your next 15 days. Okay. So during these 5 to 7 days of time, what they will do is the developer start writing the code and making an analysis on that code, start on the task 2. But when he got that bug report, again he stopped working on the task 2, open the relevant code of the task 1, and making some changes in the code, resolving that bug. After unit testing has been done, again there is going to be enhanced code. He is going to be pushed that into the source code management. After that, the build team people, the same process, pulling that code, enhanced code, the same process will be repeat. If you can observe here, on an average to resolving one bug, it is taking 10 days of time. If you can think about the hundreds of bugs are there, how much time it is taking for them if you are doing it manually. So this was a problem we faced earlier case. So the management people, they thought that in the current era, now we are everything is automation. So this approach doesn't works. This approach is doesn't works now. So what we have to do in that case? So we have to be make the process. That means as per your market trend, you have to be make this process to be automated. Otherwise, no organization or no clients will be coming and give the projects to you. So first the client will be coming, and first before giving the project to any software organization, first he will be asking you the question like, so do you have any experience in DevOps implementation? Do you have the DevOps team is there? Do you have the Agile team is there? What is the recent project you have been developed which is implemented the Agile as well as DevOps implementation? So if you are not implemented, if you are not having any experience in DevOps projects implementation, no clients will be interested to give the projects to you. So that is why every organizations are recruiting the resources of your DevOps, because it increases the productivity of your software development, as well as which is also make the process to be automated. That is what every client wants. Nowadays, to developing any complex application, which is going to be not developing the complete application at once. We are developing the small chunks of software and delivering at regular intervals of time through the iterations. Okay. So the management experts thought that, so they have make complete analysis on this complete approach here. They thought that, so how can we reduce this 5 to 7 days of time into few hours? What we need to do there, they got the approach, they got in a concept called in the mind the automation. Okay, they got this automation. So what they will do is they have been removing these build process here, and here they have been implemented Jenkins. Okay, automation tools. This is CI CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery. Okay, here they are going to be configuring the job, configure Jenkins jobs, and the build tools like your Maven, MS Build, Gradle, I'll be using. Next one, they're going to be build your application, build applications, and generating the executable jar files, WAV files, and the EAR files. We used to be calling this one as artifacts. Okay, jar files means Java archives, WAR files means web archives, EAR files means enterprise archive files. So these are executable files. We are going to be deploying your application into the relevant production servers now. So here also we are having the Git and GitHub, Git, GitHub, Bitbucket, Bitbucket. These tools are there. And now here, the configuring the job. Actual DevOps engineer job is going to be starts from here. So here, what he will do is he will be getting connected to the source code management at a regular intervals of time without manual intervention. So continuous integration we used to be calling. Continuous integration is 3 hours. So here this continuous integration, okay, this is continuous integration. Every 3 hours it will be getting connected. So this 3 hours is not the standard time. Okay, this 3 hours is not the standard time. So this 3 hours depends on your organization policy. This will be deferred. In our organization, I have instructed my DevOps team people that every 3 hours, as per our company policy, I said I have instructed my team that every 3 hours, the Jenkins server has to be getting connected to the source code management. Within these 3 hours, if any of the developer have been updated or push any latest code, okay, push any latest code, this Jenkins will be automatically pull the latest code here automatically without manual intervention. And this will be deferred from organization to organization. Suppose now in IBM it might be 3.5 hours, in Cognizant it might be 4 hours, in Infosys it might be 4.5 hours. So you might be asking, sir, how do we know, sir, then? So in any process oriented organization, once you have joined in that organization, on the day one they are not going to be assigning any work to you. First they are going to be giving you the documentation about the project, about the infrastructure. And after that, you are going to be going through one induction training program for the next 1 week to 10 days of time. So one of the DevOps team member is coming and giving the training on the project which you're supposed to be going and work. So after that, he will be giving you the documentation about that project, what are the modules are there, and what are the user stories and all these things. So you are going through all those things throughout the day, all this 1 week, 10 days. After that, once you understand completely about the project, completely about the infrastructure which that organization is using, after that only you are going to be joining on board on the project. Clear? So that is how it is going to be every 3 hours. It is with that one you come to know this one. These is it 3 hours or 3.5 or 4 hours you have to be configure this job, right? Then here this is continuous delivery. CT, continuous delivery. So yes, continuous delivery. This one, yeah. Right. So once this jar file have been generated, this jar file will be deployed into your testing server. So once it is deployed into the testing server, what happens here? They are also using the automation tools here. Selenium, okay, JUnit, TestNG. So these tools they have been using. These tools they have been using. So these automation, these QA people, they're ready with the test cases, writing the test cases. Once this jar file have been deployed into the testing server, they are ready with the test cases and they are going to be executing those test cases and ensuring that the application will be 99% bug-free application. They are going to be, move into the next phase when they are completely test that application. So once the application has been completely getting tested here, after that, if they got any bugs in that one, they'll be generating the bug report or test results we used to be calling. After that, they are going to be addressing it to your that bug report to your developers. So here we are having the different management tools are there. Okay, reporting tools, bug report like a Jira tool where we can able to be updating this bug report in that Jira. So once it is updating in the Jira tool, it will be notified to the developers and the developers are going to be open that and the relevant code they are going to be opened based on this bug report and they are going to be making the necessary changes to change to resolving that bug and the update with that updated code the same process will be repeat. Okay, the same process will be get repeated. After that, So this is number of times your application will be getting tested. That is why the testing team people, they are be ensuring that 99.9% they'll be releasing the quality product once the application is thoroughly getting tested. Fine. Now we have developed your application here. After that, we need to be test your application into in the real-time scenarios here. That means here in a individual servers, we have tested your application, but now in your application, your ICICI Bank application is not going to be used by 1 or 2 members. Thousands of lakhs of people will be using. So when thousands and lakhs of people, when they are using, how it is performance, the application, how it is performs in that scenarios, that we need to be test. So before deploying your application into your staging server or your pre-production server, okay, pre-production server, here we need to be test in 100 servers. Okay, we need to be test in 100 servers. Okay, so in that case, if I need to test this one in 100 servers here, think about it here, guys. If suppose now I would like to be test in 100 servers, the organization has to be given the 100 servers, physical servers, if they have purchased. How much cost effective it is to replace these 100 servers? Also, how much office space they need, they have been required for that? Okay, it's a huge burden on the capital expenditure as well as an operational expenditure also on the software organization, because to managing those 100 servers, we need to be recruiting the networking team, admin team, right? So these are all the additional expenses will be added on your, that's a huge burden on the software organizations. And in a software organization, your project is not the only one which is running. There are other team members also working on the other projects. So for them also, they require the 100 or 200 servers. Are they going to be purchasing that 100 servers again? No. So that is not a impossible task it is. So that is why here, the biggest revolution in your IT industry, this is nothing but here virtualization. Got it, guys. Okay, we got this virtualization. Now all your cloud computing services which we are using, like your AWS, Azure, GCP. Okay, these are all the tools, the services which are running on this virtualization concept only. So here with this virtualization, we can reduce that one, guys. Suppose now here we have this server. Okay, we have this server. If you're purchasing the higher end servers over here, if you're purchasing the higher end servers, $25 millions. If you're purchasing the higher end servers over here, we can accommodate all these 100 servers from this four VM servers. So for the 4 VM servers, how much space it requires? Hardly a big room with 2 ACs or 3 ACs, much more than enough to make the managing that temperature of that service, to avoid the hanging of that server. So here, to managing these servers, how many additional staff is required? That means, I mean to say, the networking and the admin people. Hardly 2 or 3 members. That is more than enough. So everything is comes in control. Your cost is comes in control, right? So we are doing in much advanced form. So that is where these virtualization servers, which we are going to be, brings a lot of big revolution in your IT industry, guys. Fine. Now we have purchased, you are developing your ICICI Bank application, for example. Okay. Now you need to be deploy your application into the hundreds of servers. How you are going to do that? Suppose now here This is your application you have developed. Suppose now you develop this application using some kind of a language, right? Which language you might be using? You might be using the Java or PHP, and your servers you are using Nginx, Apache Tomcat. Okay, might be you are using the SQL Server or MySQL or Oracle DB. Okay, so this kind of a softwares you have been using to developing your ICICI Bank application. So to deploy your ICICI Bank application in one server, it is taking minimum 2 hours. Now we are having the 100 servers are there. In 100 servers, if I need to be deploy your application and configure that application in 100 servers, how much time it takes? 200 hours. Okay, this is one time we have deployed. But every alternate weekend, we are going to be developing the new services, new code we are going to writing, and that new services need to be deployed into all these 100 servers as well. So every time, do you have the 200 hours every alternate weekend? Do you think that is an automation? No, right? So we have to make that process to be automated. That means to deploy your application into 100 servers using the automation scripts. That is where we need to make sure that application development will be useful. So for that purpose here, we are having the configuration management tools have been there, guys. Here we are having configuration management tools. That means here we have the Chef, Ansible, Puppet, SaltStack. Here we are writing the automation scripts. Here we are writing automation scripts. This is where you exactly understand that how this automation will be brings that speed in your application development. We used to be calling this one as the playbooks, cookbooks. Okay, to write this one we are using either JSON or YAML scripting. This configuration management tool. Okay, these are your Chef, Ansible, and SaltStack. So here we are going to be writing these automation scripts. With the help of these automation scripts, we can able to be deploy your application into hundreds of servers within minutes. So that is what exactly the DevOps have been using. So where you can understand the usage of your DevOps in that scenarios. Fine. Now, what happens here in the sense here, after you are deploying your application, everything into your staging and the pre-production server here, then here also we are going to be using the tool like Vagrant tool. Okay, here we are using Vagrant tool here using, right? After that, we are going to be deploying your application into the production server here. Here, production server. Production server. In this production server, how you are going to be deploy your application? Here we are using the containerization application to maintain the consistency of your application, Docker, Kubernetes. Okay, we used to be calling this one as a containerization. Clear? Maintaining the containerization of your application. That means if suppose now in the using the Docker, what happens is it makes that consistency of your application right from your development server to your production server. Right from your development server to your production server, we are going to be maintaining the consistency of your application. That means the versions of the servers which we are using in development server, the similar versions of the servers we have to be used in your Jenkins, in your testing server, as well as in staging pre-production servers, as well as your production servers as well. Which brings the consistency with the help of this consistency, which is helping us to be resolving, especially the developers, to resolving the bugs quickly. Right? So that is where we are going to be using that. Next one, what is the importance of the Kubernetes then? So Kubernetes is also which is helping us to maintain the load, to maintain the load balancing. To maintain the load balancing, we are going to be using this Kubernetes. Okay. So even load is coming, suppose now you are watching an IPL match. There are already around the 10 lakhs of people are watching. when some star player is on the crease. Okay, so additional 5 lakhs of people have been added. So when additional 5 lakhs of people have been added in the Netflix, I mean in the Hotstar, the OTT application, so how it is going to be balances that load? That means they are going to be adding the additional servers, scaling up the servers. When more number of servers have been added, this load will be distributed among the number of servers there. When the number of servers have been added, what happens? The distributed that load among the number of servers, what happens? Your application will be giving you the optimum performance. Of course, have you ever, have you ever come across that experience that when the load is more, the IPL match is not giving the optimum performance? Is it you are getting any kind of a differences or any kind of a difficulty to view that match? No. Why? Because when in the back end they are in the back end the Hotstar applications or Netflix or any kind of an applications nowadays we are using, they are using these DevOps tools. They're using this Kubernetes, Docker, Ansible, and all these things. That is why they are efficiently managing that additional load which is coming on them. Clear? That is where the Kubernetes will be using. Kubernetes, which is useful for scaling up and scale down the servers. Scaling up and scale down the servers. Next one here after that, once your application has been deployed, then it is maintaining this. Here we are going to be using what? Now here they are going to be monitoring team people are there. Monitoring team. Here we have Nagios tool is there. So what this monitoring team people will do is this application which have been deployed in your production server, that suppose now this ICICI Bank application which have been deployed in your production server, these monitoring team people monitors that application. These people, they monitors that application. When they monitor that application, what happens is when more number of users are accessing your application, how your application is performing, or if they got any bugs in that one while they are monitor this application in the production server. So they'll be make the root cause analysis on it. They'll be make the root cause analysis, these Nagios team people, and they'll be generating a feedback report here, guys. Okay, they'll be generating here the feedback report. Feedback report, which will be consisting of here we have the bug reports, bug fixes, okay, bug fixes, enhancements, and new features. Okay, they'll be making this process here. Okay, so when the users are hitting that, the ICICI Bank users, they'll be when they browse the other applications also, other ICICI Bank applications, not ICICI, no, other banking applications. Other banking applications, they might be one striking feature will be there. Correct? There might be they'll got some striking feature, so they want that striking feature from the HSBC into ICICI Bank as well. So the more number of users, similar kind of a users want that same application to be used in this ICICI Bank application also. So that is called the new feature. Suppose now you are purchasing the mobile. So what you'll do, immediately you make a call to your friends and asking what is it, what are the features are there in your mobile. So which one I would like to be purchase the new one. So you'll be find out that features between the two different vendors of your mobile manufacturers, right? After that, you'll be taking a decision and then you are going to be purchase that. Similarly, the ICICI Bank users also, when they are browsing the other banking applications, some of the features might be getting strike, which might be they felt that it will be useful for them. Such services might not be useful there in the ICICI Bank. They want that new services in the ICICI Bank as well. So when more section of people, more number of people wants the similar kind of a request, so then the ICICI Bank management will be considering that request and developing that services as well. Fine. The next one here, new enhancements. Enhancements means we know that one. What is mean by enhancements? That means betterment. Already that feature is working, but they want the better feature, that they want the betterment of that particular feature. So that is called enhancements. Bug fixes, you can find out that bugs and resolving that bug. So based on, see, if you can observe here, this feedback report, based on the feedback report provided to the developers are going to be start working on that and resolving that. Again, the same procedure will be repeated. If you can observe here, the total process in every phase we are using the DevOps tools. See, here we are using the DevOps tools in the source code management, Git and GitHub, and Jenkins we are using, and here build tools we are using, testing server we are using the Selenium, JUnit and TestNG, and here virtualization, Vagrant we are using, configuration management tools to deploy your application to the hundreds of servers. We are using the Chef and Ansible, Puppets and SaltStack, and making your application consistent and scaling up your servers, load balancing, Docker and Kubernetes we are using, and monitoring your application here, Nagios we are using. That means in every phase of your application, we are using the DevOps tools here, which brings the productivity, over here. Fine. After this, if you can observe what we have enhanced, that means what we have achieved in this total process. In the total process, we have been achieved that the application have, the client is happy here. Why? Because he is getting the new services, his application is getting developed faster, and he can able to be get the new services which is reaches to the end users quickly. So his business is working absolutely good. He's happy about the output of his application, which is added the value to his business. These are all the things which is happening. Fine. So the client is much happy over here. We have enhanced the process. So here this is called continuous integration and continuous delivery here, guys. CI/CD pipeline we used to be calling. Without this CI/CD pipeline, there is no Without this CI/CD pipeline, there is no DevOps implementation which is possible. Clear? Without CI/CD pipeline, there is no DevOps implementation which is possible. That means this CI/CD pipeline, it's like a heart for a human being. Without heart, human can't survive. Similarly, without CI/CD pipeline, which is not possible for us to be deploy your applications or make your DevOps implementation in your project. Clear? What are all the tools we have been used? See guys, here only in the development we are not having any automation tools. But once the code has been pushed into the source code management, here we have the tools like your SVN, CVS, SVN and CVS, the old one, very maintenance projects we are using. But currently we are using the Git, GitHub and the Maven we are using. Git, GitHub and the Bitbucket. Next one, Jenkins we are using, build tools we are using, and your testing server, configuration management tools like your Chef and Ansible mostly we are using here. Next one, Vagrant virtualization server and containerization server like your Docker and Kubernetes we are using, right? Next one, monitoring team here, Nagios. Monitoring team, we are using here, Nagios. So with this, I come to an end with a DevOps demo, guys. Now tell me, do you have any queries are there? You can ask me now. Any queries? Those who are online, please unmute yourself and you can talk to me. Yes, any queries? Queries ఉన్నాయి మీకు ఏమైనా? You. No queries. Okay. Santosh is saying fine. Okay. Right.